Welcome back to the channel, and hello if you're new. Before we get into the video, make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, comment your thoughts down below and subscribe to the channel to stay posted on my future content. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so Daredevil's back. Is it everything we hoped for? With Marvel bringing back Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk back into the spotlight, expectations are high, especially after Netflix set the gold standard for the street level superhero storytelling. Does this new season deliver? Let's do a quick recap of episodes 1 to 4. Starting off with episode 1. The open with Matt Murdock stepping away from Daredevil, and honestly it feels a little off from the jump. CGI during his rooftop swings with the batons doesn't quite hit the same way it did back in the Netflix era. The CGI during his rooftop swings with the batons doesn't quite hit the same way it did back in the Netflix era. The practical weighty fights have been swapped out for something that feels a little bit too polished, almost like they're trying to make it more superheroic than grounded. But what really shakes things up is Matt's identity being revealed so quickly. A co-worker of his finds out, and while it does add drama, it does feel a little bit rushed, almost as if like they tried to push the plot forward rather than let it happen naturally. And then there's Bullseye. Matt throws him off the roof and somehow he just gets up and walks away. I felt like that was a wasted moment. He could have narrowly escaped and outmaneuvered Matt in a way that made sense rather than just brushing off the floor. Meanwhile, Fisk is making moves and setting up his rise back to power, and the tension is there, but it's clear the show is still warming up. Moving on to episode 2. Things start picking up as Matt takes on a new client who isn't exactly who he claims to be. We get deeper into the political and legal angles, but while the dialogue is sharp, there's noticeable lack of action compared to the previous seasons. When we do get action though, it does feel closer to Netflix's roots, brutal, fast and efficient. There's a weird inconsistency in some of these criminals are getting their necks snapped or slammed into the walls in ways that should put them in a hospital, and yet by the next episode they're just walking around with just a black eye. Meanwhile, Fisk is flexing his influence, proving that power isn't just about brute force, it's about perception. He's manipulating the media, shaping how people see him, and honestly it's one of the strongest parts of the episode. Moving on to episode 3. Now this is where the season really starts to find its voice. The legal drama takes centre stage as Hector Alia's trial unfolds, but beneath it all there's a dark, unsettling commentary on power, corruption and survival. Unlike previous seasons, this one isn't just about street level crime, it's about how the system itself is rigged. The story dives into the way of politics, policing and justice in New York, and are deeply intertwined, making it feel more real than ever. It's the kind of episode that makes you sit back and think, because in some way we all relate to this struggle, trying to do what's right while constantly being beaten down. And just when you think that there's some hope, the ending pulls the rug right out from under us. That feeling of victory gone, stripped away in a way that's cold, brutal, and a reminder in this world that good intentions aren't enough. At this point I actually had to double check if I was still watching a Marvel show because the writing got that real. Moving on to episode 4. Picking up from the gut punch ending of episode 3, this one is all about the aftermath. The one is dealing with that harsh reality, but none more than Matt Murdock himself. He's holding it together, or at least trying to, but deep down he knows that his way isn't working. And that's where the Punisher comes in. Matt tries to manipulate him, thinking he can use Frank's thirst for vengeance to take out the corrupt cops that are responsible for Hector's death. But Frank Castle isn't stupid. He sees right through it and throws Matt's entire worldview back in his face. What makes this scene so brutal isn't the action, it's the psychological breakdown. Frank forces Matt to admit that everything he's done has been for nothing. The criminals still walk free, good people still die, and in the end, all Matt's justice has done is make him weaker. Then Frank brings up Foggy. That's when it really hits. He twists the knife, reminding Matt that his best friend is gone while the scum of the city continue to thrive. You see it in Matt's face. He wants to fight back, but deep down he knows Frank isn't wrong. He lashes out, shoves Frank back and leaves, and honestly, that scene alone might be one of the best in the series so far. All while all this is happening, Fisk is having his own internal battle. He's always been ruthless, but here we see glimpses of something darker beneath the surface, something he's been hiding for a long time, and now it's starting to break free. By the end of this episode, the show has finally hit its stride, the shaky start is gone, and now we're in full Daredevil mode. So on to final thoughts. Again, it started off rough. The CGI and the action in episode 1 didn't feel right and some moments felt rushed. But as the episodes went on, the story got darker, deeper and more intense. The themes of corruption, failure and morality hit harder than before. And by episode 4, it's clear that this season has got something to say. If you're a fan of the original Netflix series, you'll notice some differences, but once the show settles in, it starts to feel like classic Daredevil again. it's absolutely worth the watch. And for those who have been waiting, yes, this season confirms the return of Iron Fist, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. How they'll fit into the reboot is still a mystery, but it's exciting to see them all back. Also, this season is proving that Marvel is finally taking their street level heroes seriously again. Between this and the rumoured new Defenders project, it seems like they're setting up something big. But do you think Marvel will stick the landing this time, or is it just a one-off? Only time will tell. That's my reactions for the first 4 episodes. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on my future content. And on that note, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.